It's from Catherine.
Okay.
Would you have her send
Frank.
both of those?
Florida.
Oh,
They're
I
not
know how
here.
that goes.
We didn't get them in time.
I have time.
For the actual packet that I
A lot of time.
didn't know about a handout or if
I was
it
gonna
could
do it
email
next
it.
month.
Got
I was
20
gonna review
minutes.
it all next month from, you talking about what we had at Huddle?
It takes me that long calling.
What is there?
What I had up at Visit Florida.
Oh. Okay.
I didn't see it.
Well, I sent it to Frank and Terry, but Terry was away.
I was away,
So it's in way 1,000 emails.
It could be
maybe
worse
do it
than
at the
two-sided
end
printing.
of
Would really appreciate it. Oh, sounds like it's on now.
Yep.
You willing to do the invocation? Yeah. It wasn't a qualitative assessment.
Six, but they're ready to go. I just need to get some dishes and plates and stuff in them.
Four. It's minor detail. This is gonna be.
A cakewalk compared to what,
Plumbing drain issues on the tiki bar they didn't do quite correct, and we discovered another issue by fixing the roof. That's how it's operating, just.
That's good.
It should be. Zip off and employee wage out. See if there's any
do we
change.
hear from Max?
He said he was coming.
I like him to be late.
No, he's usually early.
Yeah.
We only have 3 out of 4 mics.
All the mics are here and accounted
No.
for.
Max.
Oh, well, I forget, his real name's Mike, so, yeah. He's always been Max to me. Correct.
Happy Valentine's Day.
What's that?
Very.
Oh, yeah. Nice to see you.
I did put some of my friends that
I can't, they match today. They match today. Two agenda sheets. Having 2 sheets that say agenda. Keep it simple. Yep. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to call the February Tourist Development Council meeting to order. If Ms. Hupner could do the invocation and then the pledge.
Thank you. If y'all join me, please. Heavenly Father, again, we thank you for this opportunity to make Citrus County, Inverness, Crystal River, Laurel City, Homosassa, the whole county. We're all one, and we pray that you bless us. And our goal is to move forward with everything we need to do to make it, continue to make it better. We thank you for blessing our first responders and all of our, whether in this country or serving elsewhere where there's ugly things going on, and we're thankful that the ugly things aren't going on here. We ask all these things, Father, and thank you in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We could get a roll call, please?
Good morning. Present today is Dr. Paresh Desai, Mike Engels, Jackie Hepfer, Ken Frink, Luann Jacobs-Wilcott, Michael Menke, and Mike Shoemaker.
And that constitutes a quorum, correct? If I could get a motion on the approval of the agenda, please.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. And likewise, approval of the January 10th TDC minutes. If I could get a motion and second.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Next, we've opened to the public. Anybody would like to address the TDC on any topic is welcome to do so. There's a 3-minute limit, and we may wait till the end if there's comments as opposed to doing it on one by one. I'll defer to my peers up here. So the floor is open to the public. Just state your name, please.
Good morning. I'm Mayor Bob Plaistad, and I want to thank you all for having us here this morning, and thank you all for serving. We really appreciate that. We have a crowd here this morning, a good group of people that are very concerned about things going on in our great city of Inverness. And so we're excited here to tell you a little bit about what we do and what we want and expect to happen today, and hopefully it will. As we all know, government is a business and it should be run like a business. One of the issues that we have is getting grants to go ahead and conduct various events in our city, and sometimes that is met with a little bit of difficulty. I can tell you from a personal experience, we are developing, that is, the county is, along with myself and another individual, an effort to create Christmas County every December. And we kicked that off with a 36-foot tree at the historic courthouse in downtown Inverness. One of the issues we had was coming to the TDC, and because of the process that it takes, we came in September, and then the next meeting was October, and unfortunately what happened, it had to go before the vote on the next meeting, and then it had to go before the commission, and so the meeting that we would have been able to attend was December 8th to see about getting some money for that tree. Well, we put that tree up on the 25th of November, 2 days after Thanksgiving. So we were a little bit premature in getting any money from the organization. What we are really looking for is $150,000 allocation to be allocated to the city annually to help us with the events. Now, we know that manatees are a big draw, and we're all aware of that. But when the people see the manatees that come down here, they're looking for other things to do. They don't come down to spend one day in the boat or one day at Three Sisters. They look around to see what else is happening. We happen to feel that what we do at the city fills in a tremendous amount of those times that they're here, and we draw a tremendous amount of people. Now, I'm in my 20th year as the mayor, so as you probably realize, I talk a lot to a lot of people, and I find out what their motives are in coming, and why they came, and what they do, and what they look for. And we fulfill 98% of those needs with the events that we have. Many of you are aware of those events and enjoy them, and I'm sure that some of you come to see those events as well. So whether it's the big time ones like the Patriotic Evening or Cootertober or any of those, or the smaller events like Small Town Saturday Night and various other things, we do a lot of work. We have a wonderful, wonderful staff, a great crew that can put things together, very knowledgeable, and they make it happen. It's an event that is unprecedented in our county, each and every one of those. And so we're excited to come here and see if we can do things in a more expedient way. And that is, rather than issue grant monies or apply for grants and so on, that we can settle it with $150,000 a year stipend that we can utilize to help pay for those. Because as you realize, city taxpayers are also county taxpayers. And so the money should be fairly spread. And we think that that would be an adequate number to go ahead and help us to defray the cost to the city taxpayers solely, and to make good things happen. And we can prepare better for what we do, knowing that that money is available to us. So I am requesting that you all would really give it some serious consideration for us. We would appreciate that. And it would save time, which is money, and we all like to run our business expediently. I'm sure you all would agree with that. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Comments? Hey, anybody else like to address the board? Oh, it's a race. Please state your name.
Absolutely. Sue Whitney. I'm a resident of Inverness, and I'm also the president of the Valerie Players, which is one of the 5 performing groups that now utilizes the Valerie Theater. It was a very movie-based oriented house 4 years ago, and now at least every 3 or 4 weekends of a month, you'll see live performances. Our group is putting on The Addams Family this weekend. If you are at all bored and would like to attend, please, there's seats at least at this point. But we do sell out, and it's wonderful. And people come who go, I've never been in here before. And we now offer a lot more there. And as the city has supported us, we would ask you to do the same to the city. I'm not asking for other money. I'm saying that the city has been very supportive of us and the other theater groups that are there. And we think it's a service to everyone. Our tickets aren't expensive, $20, $25, plus the service fee that everyone whines about, but that's all right. And so we would ask you to please consider what Mayor Bob has said and understand that you're supporting not just those big festivals, but the people of the community. I mean, nobody in my group, and there's 18 performers and another 11 backstage. Nobody's paid. Everybody does it, including me, the director. Anyways, but please consider what he's asked for. Thank you. I won't take up your time anymore.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name's John Lazaretto. I'm the Vice President of the Citrus County Corvettes and Camaro Car Club. Approximately 3 years ago, we were contacted by the city of Inverness to do the cruise-ins every 3rd Friday of the month for the city. And that encompasses in the courthouse square where we bring in cars every month. We bring approximately in 130, 140 cars once a month, which supports all the downtown restaurants and the Valerie Theater and all the other area there. We also do for the city, which enables us to raise money for our veterans and everything that we give to every year. At those cruise-ins, we do 50/50s, and all the money that we make from the 50/50s go to the veterans. We also help the city do their Coup de Queen, where we have Corvettes, and we open up our trunks, and we give candy out to all the people. We have approximately 40 Corvettes there last year. And this year, last year, we did one of our annual car shows we do there every year for Corvettes and Camaros. Well, last year in association with the city and the Downtown Business Association, we had our car show. We had approximately 165 cars show up from all over the country, and we expect more this year coming up. But the city supports us with that association, and we have that. And then without the city helping us to do this, we wouldn't be able to raise the money that we raised from about 4 different veterans associations that we support. This past year, since an organization started in 2013, we have approximately given out $28,000 to veterans associations with their technical college, their automotive groups. We give scholarships to them once a year. The city's been backing us for this, and we appreciate the city doing it. And this year, our car show, we have people come in from all over the United States. This is one of the premier car shows. Last year, the Downtown Association set up also vendors in the area around the courthouse. We had over 6,000 people come to that one car show, and they come from out of town. We had people come in from South Florida, from the West Coast, from the North, people staying 2 and 3 nights at the hotels around the area. So without the city's support helping us, and we ask you that you help them with what they need, that would be appreciated from our car club. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Bob Steele with the chairman of the Florida Nature Coast Bike Fest. I know I was here a couple months ago, and spoke about what we're doing at the Bike Fest. Today, I just want to kind of speak what we're doing about to help with the tourism. And 6 months ago, I contacted tourism, and I actually asked them if I could link to their website, which I did. 4 main pages: places to stay, where to sleep, attractions, and plan your event. That's been on our website. Along with that, I was given a logo, and your logo has been on our website for the past 6 months, along with the City of Inverness and our primary sponsors on our main page. We have made up, I'm gonna move pretty fast because we've done quite a bit. We made up 4,000 of these 4x6s that we've handed out to businesses. We've taken them to Biketoberfest, handed them out there. We've got a bunch of them going to Daytona Bike Week, and a lot of the business that we visit, we give a stack of them to put by the registers to give the people when they check out. Next thing we do is Daytona's got a pocket guide that they do. We also had it in Bike Fest. We do a full page ad. We've done a full page ad in Biketoberfest. We're doing a full page ad in Daytona Bike Week. And if you notice, your logo's on that page also. For the one for Daytona, it's going to be the same full page ad. And on the front cover is our logo with the date of the Bike Fest here up in Inverness for Citrus County. We also contracted with Steve Shadell. You probably heard him on some of our promotions already. We've got over 500 time slots between now and the Bike Fest with Steve and his 4 radio stations, and doing the promotions for the Bike Fest. Also, we're on Bikers Info USA. It's a downloadable app. The fellow is also a consultant of ours. He's got all the bike rallies in the United States on that app. Ours, he made it a main app download. That app is linked to our website, so our website goes out to thousands of people. He's got over 25,000 people on that app. And Loman has also put up a couple of billboards, one down by Crystal Harley and one down in Floral City. So hopefully with all this, tourism will be pretty good for us at that time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir?
Good morning. My name is Steve Shadell. I'm the managing partner of a local radio group, and we have 4 stations in this area, actually 5 FM frequencies and 4 different formats. We have Citrus 95, which was Citrus County's original radio station back in the mid-'80s. It signed on, and we just celebrated the 40th anniversary of Citrus 95. We have Fox Classic Hits, 96.7, Nature Coast Country, 104.3, and soon to return to the air, 103.3. We replaced all of the equipment and the transmitter in that radio station. And we have a sister station that's in the Pasco Hernando area called Hits 106. And I want to say, first of all, that I support the City of Inverness in their request. We believe in partnerships. We think that public-private partnerships are something that can be wonderful. When a government recognizes the needs of their citizens, when they want to enrich the quality of life for those citizens, that's our goal as well, to help grow the area that we serve. And we have had a partnership with the City of Inverness over the past year and a half. We're in, I believe, our second year now of implementing it. It's been a wonderful partnership. And our stations, 2 of them are located in Citrus County. One of them is located in Levy County on Cedar Key, and the other station is located on Highway 50 in Hernando County, but covers an area down into northern Pinellas and northern Hillsborough. And I just want to tell you quickly a story. I moved to Florida in 1981. I had an uncle, Ivan Kenyon, that lived here in Inverness, and we visited him twice, which goes to show you our family's not a big family, I guess. But we only visited him twice between 1981 and the time he passed away. And then in 2000, we bought our radio station, Citrus 95, in this area. I didn't make it up to Citrus again until in the mid-2000s. And after that, I was up here very frequently. We came up to visit some of the attractions. We brought relatives to see the manatees. We did all of those things. And I'd like to point out that we try to be everybody's partner. And if you're in the audience today and you have something that you need a partner, call us at the radio station. But I want to point out that there are some very viable tourists that aren't 100 or 200 miles away from here. There are people in Pasco and Hernando County that have still never seen a manatee. You know, they have some things in their area, but nothing like you have in this area. So I just want to encourage you that we can be a good partner. Things that are done with the city are on our radio stations, and they qualify for reaching outside of the county area. Everyone that I've invited to Citrus County hasn't just come one time. They've come and they've come back, and they've done the river thing, and then they've come back and done the manatee thing, and then they've come back and done some of the event things. So I just wanted to, again, support them and let you know that our radio group, we are local. We want to be here for the community and for the county. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. How y'all doing?
Good.
I'm Tyson Reinhardt. I work for Trek Bicycles in Inverness. We're right on the trail by Liberty Park. The east side of this county has a bunch of tourism. Through talking to people, you know, everybody has seen the manatees, and they're here for a week stay, and they're looking for something else to do, and they're on the east side of the county, so there's a lot that goes unnoticed about over there. The trail brings in tourists from out-of-state, in-state, general people coming up from local counties like Hernando and stuff like that are cruising into our county every single day. We're renting all of our bikes out on multiple occasions a week. That's 30 bikes, and we're looking to put more in there. So the Withlacoochee Trail is pulling a lot of people. They're looking for other things to do, places to eat, so they are utilizing all of our restaurants and all the city events in Inverness. So it's very important that they get some funding out there to keep this thing going, because they are seeing the entire county, and the east side needs a little bit more help with what they're doing over there, because they're doing a fine job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for your time today. My name is Jody Zakaria, and I'm here speaking on behalf of ROCS, ROCCS, Rowing Organization of Citrus County Students. Our purpose in this county is twofold. One is to provide the students of Citrus County an alternative athletic opportunity, so to speak. We are crew, not to be confused with dragon boats. We are those skinny boats with 2 oars or one that you see. Our goal with students is to provide them an opportunity to experience crew. It is the highest number of collegiate athletic scholarships given of all the sports. So we bring that to all middle school and high school students here. Our second goal is to bring crew to this county overall. And we could not do that without the support of the city of Inverness. Our boathouse is located in downtown Inverness, and we row out of Lake Henderson. We have master membership and student memberships. Our master members are retired and working folks here in Citrus County and also from Merriam County. And our group is 501c3, totally volunteer-led. Not one person is paid in our group. In regards to bringing and growing the sport of crew in Citrus County, we have, since February of last year, had collegiate teams come here to train. They come from the north during winter to train here in Lake Henderson. We have had University of Washington, University of North Carolina, and Long Island University. All 3 universities have come. They have spent 2 months here just recently. Long Island University is coming in a couple of weeks. They will spend a week here. Just one of the universities who just left, they spent $15,000 in 1 week just on lodging and food. All three of the universities have stayed at the Wood Spring Suites in downtown Inverness. And if you may have seen them walking across the street to go to the park, that's where they're headed, to Lake Henderson to row. We also have had Vermont, an elite team for Vermont come here and train for the past 3 years. What they do is they are a team that they train Olympic hopefuls, actually. They come here, they train for a month, and then they go to Sarasota. If you've heard about Nathan Benderson, it is a world-class rowing facility. Folks come here to train. It's a stopover. They acclimate to Florida weather, and then they head down to Sarasota. But we could not do what we do without the support of the City of Inverness. So if at all you can provide support to them, we would sincerely appreciate it, because it takes an entire village to do what we all do, and we all love it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jody.
Hello, my name's Dale McClellan. I'm a dairy farmer, milk processor around these parts. I have my son Leon with me. We came up to speak together in case he had anything to say. We're here in support of the mayor's request. We got involved with the City of Inverness some time ago as a result of them loaning us the depot for Leon to help lead an event that wound up collectively making $245,000 for a young kid named Jeremy who has Tourette's syndrome. And as a result of that, though, I don't know that we didn't make great gobs of money at that event, but what we did is put on a quality event. And I had several people from the City of Inverness government to ask if we would do something similar to help freshen up the Big Bass tournament. Not that it's a great tournament like it is, but they wanted to add to it. And we've been involved with that for a few years. I've kind of involved myself with getting bluegrass musicians and trying to communicate with the chamber and with the City of Inverness and that. And Leon manages all the barbecue cooking and that. So we feel strongly about what Inverness is doing. I really, from a farmer's perspective, what they're trying to do with this Big Bass and bluegrass for me is you look like a farmer that's looking at a freshly plowed field and you ain't got no money for seed, and you ain't got no fertilizer. We've donated lots of time and money, and we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to do that. But we really want to take this Big Bass, Bluegrass, and Barbecue festival to the next level. It's our personal ambition, and it's probably too high of an ambition, but I sell milk for a living. And we want it to be the biggest bluegrass festival in Florida within the next few years. And I really think we can do it collectively. Everybody will benefit from that. Every RV park, no matter what part of the county it's in, motels, etc. We need RV parks over on that side, but that's a whole other topic. But please listen to the mayor and support him. We are silently supporting from the background and with our own money and time because we believe in so much in what they're doing. The facility's beautiful. The Liberty Park is beautiful. The depot's beautiful. We're all dressed up, no place to go. So give us a hand if you would. And Leon, have you got any comments?
I just want to say that I'm here in support of them as well. They're very easy to work with. When you call them, they answer the phone. They take care of everything. They're really, really nice people. And I love Crystal River, and I love Homosassa, and I definitely love Oak Grove and Lecanto and Floral City, and I also love Inverness. And it's just it's a great community. Everybody works together, and I hope that you all feel the same and can support the City of Inverness. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not us against them. It's we for us, all of us. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, and thank you for all you do for the community.
Good afternoon, Timothy Gilbert, Inverness. So I'm not here representing an organization that does events. I'm here just as a citizen. I live in Inverness, but not Inverness, if you know what I mean. I'm not a taxpayer of Inverness, of the county. I'm here for two things. One, I see a great logical argument here, right? We see that the city of Inverness is doing great things. They provide the stats, the numbers, and the facts behind it. I think it'd be a different situation if they said, come give me $150,000 for something new that we've never tested before. Sure, I would be skeptical. But we're going with proven track record here, so I can respect it a lot. Plus, when I read the backup copy, I do like the accountability in it. That's in the end. I think that's huge. I think that the city should come back after a year, say we spent the money on this, and this was our return. I think the red tape kind of slows different organizers down from collaborating with each other, especially across our cities. Let's imagine Crystal River and Inverness both in unison planning events on a weekend. That would be amazing, right? And this money allows for that. So not only do I support this, and I hope you do, but I hope when Crystal River comes knocking, you support them. And I hope when the chamber comes for the same request, or the county for that representation, we do the same thing. Again, I think it's great. Just make sure that we are accountable in the funds here, and I think that we're being good stewards of the money. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Debbie Wheatley, Inverness, commonly known as across the street from Whispering Pines Park. My neighbor is 290 acres of trees. I hope you can see that tourism is big in Inverness. I mean, look at all the things that we have been able to tell you about. And I think it's just only right that you honor our mayor's request. I go to city meetings. I've been involved maybe 2 years. And you learn a lot. You see a lot. All of the people, all of the city workers, all of our Inverness government, they work together. It's just an amazing, absolutely amazing corporate government that we have. And our mayor is just simply asking what is due to us, considering what has been given to Crystal River. I'm just amazed we have to come and beg. I'm amazed at that. I mean, this is not something that started yesterday. The bike trail has been there. Liberty Park has been there. I mean, we have travel ball, the Valerie Theater, Saturday Market. We have fishing. We have the golf. We have all of the different special events. And for this committee to say, no, we don't see enough, I don't think we're going to honor our mayor's request for $150,000, I think is a slap in the face to all of us in Inverness, considering everything that you have heard that we do, that this has been going on for several years, and it's only getting better. So we would appreciate your help. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Slow. Good morning. My name is Rex Young with Lewis & Young Entertainment. We're a little production company. We are a professional company, so we do make a tiny profit, just to let you know up ahead. But we are one of the 5 production companies that use the Valerie Theater. And we really would like you to support it, because I think what you're seeing here is kind of an artistic mitosis, because we didn't used to have 5 production companies working out of the Valerie Theater. And what the Valerie Theater has done is, in essence, become an artistic incubator. It has allowed us to grow and develop and do these things from scratch. And what we do artistically, very low impact on the environment. It brings in people not only from our area, but other areas. We have people coming in from the villages. In fact, we just sold out 4 of our last 6 shows, and we had to add 5 more shows at the end of March. So the desire is there. What we're offering people want. So if you could help us by supporting the mayor, Inverness, and the theater, that would be fantastic. Again, we take very little from the infrastructure. We're not dirtying things up or anything. We're just putting on good art. And one of the things we're all trying to do in our own way, all the production companies, not to speak for everyone, but is we try to encourage young people to get involved in the arts and give them that opportunity. Because if you ever watch anyone, any actor, anything on TV, even athletes, they always say, this is where I started. I started in my community. And this is our community, and we want to encourage young people to experience the arts. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for your time. Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning, Gene Davis, City Councilman, and have been blessed to call Citrus County the last 71 years my county, and specifically Inverness is my town. And thank you all for your time, dedication here, because it's not an easy job. And this is not Inverness against Crystal River. I am blessed to live in this county. I am blessed to go to Crystal River. And I can tell you as a young man, as I played on the Hurricane football team, that was our arch enemies on that side, but it doesn't need to be that way. And I can tell
always be that way, Jim.
Probably. And as a young man, I can tell you, I swam the springs, I fished the rivers. Up until my later teens, I never saw a manatee. So it's amazing what we have is a great asset. Everywhere I go, people know what manatees are, they know what Crystal River is, and then where Citrus County is and everything else. What other county in our state has the natural resources we have? Well, we have the Gulf of Mexico, we have all the freshwater springs, we have the manatees, we have a 27-mile chain of lakes with the Coochie River, a state forest, a nationally renowned bike trail. We have all these things. And so I would just encourage you to look at how do we promote both sides equally somehow. And let's promote tourism, but good, clean, respectful tourism. And thank you all for your time here today.
Thank you, Gene. I see a couple other people spring-loaded, like 4 or 5.
Good morning. My name is Charles Niski. I'm the owner and operator of Under Siege Enterprises, which is the third of the 5 troops that perform at the Valerie Theater. I'm also representing the Woodview Players, which would be the 4th of the 5 troops. So let that speak that 80% of the people, the troops that use the Valerie Theater are here presenting to you today, backing the mayor's request. Entertainment, by definition, is a tourism market. Broadway alone made $1.6 billion last year, and according to BroadwayLeague.com, made $21.1 million last week. And that's not all from locals. I myself have traveled to Tampa, Orlando, and Jacksonville on multiple occasions to see various shows and bands, many times getting a hotel room or patronizing the local restaurants. And since the inception of my company, I have said that that tourism draw can be brought here to Citrus County, to Inverness, to the Valerie Theater, if it's marketed and advertised to the proper people. When I first started my first weekend of runs, I had 42 people total. I just closed 6 full sellout performances, just shy of 800 people. That's because of the marketing and advertising that I have been able to do. One of the unique features of my troupe is that I perform murder mysteries, which allows me the opportunity to interact with my audiences after the show. And I ask my audiences, how many of you have been to the Valerie Theater or Inverness before? On this last show, an average of 25% of the people had been there before. 75% of my audiences were new. That does not mean that I have a low retention rate. Just like Harry and Rex, I also have an encore weekend coming up because my regular audiences were unable to get tickets. I am a small business that wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the support of the City of Inverness and the Valerie Theater. And as such, I try to support other local businesses. I literally tell my audiences, please go patronize the local bars, the local restaurants, all within the downtown square. Come enjoy our small town done right. Now, I've said it before, not to you, but fundraising is not a dirty word. It's my understanding that the purpose of today's meeting is for events and marketing to draw outside people to our area. I'm going to say that again, to request funds and events, or funds for events and marketing to draw outside people to our area. I'm standing in front of you right now telling you my story because my success is 100% directly attributed to my being able to budget increased funds to market my events, which absolutely has drawn in the outside people to our area. I ask all of you, please consider the mayor's request for the additional funding. It does help. Thank you, and we hope to see you at the theater.
Thank you. Oh, okay. She's been working her way up from the back of the room.
Good morning. I'm Brittany Vamherner-Cute. I am here representing Inverness Little League, and I came to speak to you and encourage you to give the funds because as a Little League, we draw a lot of the little guys. We have tons and tons of teams that come in, especially for our top teams tournaments, and then also when we do our All-Stars tournaments, having the ability to host those things and have things here for our families and our not students, sorry, our families and our players to come in and be able to enjoy while they're here is very important. You're creating that want to come back, especially for the little guys. If they show up and there are great fields and there's fun things to do, there's things to see, they want to come back, and that instills that for the life of their time playing in Little League, also as they grow and have their own families. So I would encourage you to go ahead, consider giving these funds and making sure that our city has that opportunity to continue building these fun memories and giving that opportunity for these young players to be able to grow and have fond memories here to come back each time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Rocky Hensley, a lifelong resident of Citrus County, and I always say a lifelong resident of Inverness, even if I too do not live in the city proper. The request that is being asked, I hope you do support it. I can go on and on about the east side of the county, the west side of the county. I mean, we know it's all beneficial, and we are, as was mentioned before, blessed to live in this great county. The thing that I see as always, I had the pleasure and honor of sitting on this board years ago when the requests you had to go through were a nightmare. You had to fill out the form, come do your presentation, mentioned before, sometime with delays, but I believe that this opportunity of this request will go to a city of Inverness, which will be the benefactor of that money. It will be in good hands. It will be accountable. It will be continued to be used to bring folks to our county. Retired from banking after 46 years, and I would always, all here in Citrus County, and I would always ask folks when they came to me from out of the county to buy a home while they're moving here, and everything was about what we have here in the county. The manatees, the bike trail, the fishing. We talk about the lakes. Years ago, our lakes were the best bass fishing in the state of Florida. It's now coming back. We are blessed now that Apopka Marine with the Bago family is going to be having that tournament again in honor of Linda's husband, Joe. Excuse me. And the people come from all around the county and outside the state as well for this tournament. And I'm a member of Kiwanis Club, and for example, we put on an event that brings people in. Basically over the 14 years of our major fundraiser, we've raised over $1 million that have all gone back to the kids of Citrus County, all over the county, not just Inverness. But again, we talk about the things that are here, east versus west. There is no east versus west. It's all Citrus County. But this request, again, will simplify, put the money to good use. And again, I hope you do also, as mentioned, support the other entities that will come here to give that money to be used to where it's just not so difficult to have to come with each and every event. Because as you've heard here today, much representation of everybody that's involved, what they're involved in. Can you imagine having 15, 20, 30 of these folks come for their individual request? And some of them will still do that, I'm sure, with certain things. But this money will be used to promote bringing folks here to this great place we call home. So again, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alicia Belden. I am the Executive Director of the Twisted Arts Initiative. We are an organization that works with pretty much everybody in the county. We don't favor one side over the other. We've worked with Crystal River for their centennial. We've worked with Crystal River Main Street. We've worked with the county on our haunted house and our Walk of Arts this year. I will say that Inverness is doing some incredible things, as is the rest of the county, and I am here in full support of this request. We were the partners in Crudertober this year. As you can see in the packets, we had over 30,000 people attending those events throughout the month. As we were walking around during those events and talking to people, I really started to get a good grasp on where those people came from. We had a lot of Native people that were here from the county that were just excited we were doing things like this to start with. But I was also running into people that flew in from New York for the concert. I met a couple from LA that came in specifically for the concert and then saw that the next weekend we had the zombie run and they stayed for that. We had the zombie prom, which brought people up from Tampa, from Orlando. It was incredible to see just these quirky little immersive events that we were doing. We're pulling people in from massive cities across the state and more. When we did our Walk of Arts this last year, I did turn in my zip code collection to you guys in December. We had people from LA, we had people from New Jersey, we had people, I had one gentleman that worked a 12-hour shift and then drove 19 hours to come see the boy bands that we had at that concert. It's incredible to see what happens when you put the right events on. The right events cost money. You have to spend money to make money. And it's very important that you please consider this appeal for this funding so that we can continue to do these events that we've been doing and bringing people into our community. I know when I was in high school, I spent my time outside of the community, so I'm so excited that we have things happening now for our students, for our younger people, for our older people as well, that they don't have to leave anymore. We're doing it here. So please consider this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, TDC members. My name is Mimi Clark, and I too am a lifelong resident of Inverness. As you are well aware, the city of Inverness, from the testimonies that have already been given, we are doing some wonderful things, and it only continues with your assistance. Since August, I have been a participant at the monthly farmers market, and the city has afforded me an opportunity to turn seeing something on social media to a thriving business. And a little shameless plug, if you're in Inverness this Saturday from 9 to 2, farmers market, so come and see me for some great lemonade. And since 2021, I have been a committee member on the city's MLK festivities. And with the city's support in doing that, with the different events that have been put on for the MLK events, we have been able to for last year, we gave out 4 $500 scholarships to Citrus High School graduates. This year, last year it was 3 $500 scholarships, and this year we are expected to give out 4 $500 scholarships. And without the city affording us to put on these events, we would not be able to do so. And if you have been to college or have someone who has been to college, you know going to college is not a cheap thing. So even $500 for a book, that does something that someone may not have been able to do. So I just would encourage you to please take the mayor's request into consideration, because it will not only be beneficial for the city of Inverness, but I think it will be beneficial for everyone in the county, in Citrus County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Robin Gelinas, and I'm the current president of the MEDA Ecotourism Association. We are a 501c3. We're also known as MEDA. I want to bring my thoughts and concerns to this board, creating a committee that will govern and regulate what we do for our ecotours. Some questions that I would like to ask are, what is the chief complaint that is warranting the formation of a committee to intervene in the need for additional regulating body? What is the goal and purpose of the committee, and once it's established, what will the committee be responsible for, and who will be the enforcing agency? Is the committee going to be acting on manatee tour operations only, or is it going to be a countywide ecotourism? What are the incentives to adhere to the regulations set forth, and if not followed, what would be the mandated penalties? I believe more regulation is not necessary, as we are already heavily regulated by the state and federal agencies, Florida Fish and Wildlife and FWC. Swimming with manatees is legal statewide, and we are the only county that is regulated by the 12 prohibitions with Florida Fish and Wildlife, in addition to self-regulation. MEDA is already doing what is being proposed via hosting industry-wide training by trained dive instructors, FWC and Florida Fish and Wildlife officials' attendance, and world-renowned manatee expert Dr. Bob Bondi and Roger Reep. They are active participants, and they educate and train members of our industry. We have a solid relationship, and they are consultants of ours. We have an incredibly high standard for our industry and for those who are operating tours in this incredible place with manatees. MEDA was established in 2011 and has been an advocate for local tourism. MEDA's purpose is to promote tourism in Citrus County through education, awareness, and preservation. MEDA members take their roles as guides and educators with an incredible amount of responsibility. We have the highest standard and quality of professionalism and adhere to the environmental regulations as set forth by Florida Fish and Wildlife and the governing operations within the Crystal River National Wildlife Refuge. Thank you for allowing me to share my thoughts and concerns with you today. I look forward to working with you in the future in providing longevity and sustainability for tourism in our beautiful Citrus County. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I was going to ask if anybody else, and I saw some movement.
How's everybody today?
Good.
Good. Karen Essie from the City of Inverness. Just from this morning, you've heard such a kaleidoscope of businesses and people who's brought their expertise into our city for everybody to enjoy, from the county to Crystal River. And what it does, it provides an income for everybody. It's spread throughout the county. And it's important that this board take a really hard look at what additional funding would do. It'd be a set allocation that is a known. And it would also, in addition to that, be able to allow staff not to have to go spend their time and energy on these grants, and also the county spending their time and energy doing these grants when they could be actually promoting other things within the county and spending that time to promote all of these. It's incredible, the amount of things that go on. The kaleidoscope of people is just incredible. And I take this from my past experience from being an event planner in South Dade at the Fruit and Spice Park. And I clearly understand the amount of energy it takes and the time it takes for all the personnel to do these things. So I'm asking you to honor the mayor's request for this allocation of money, and also when Crystal River and the Chamber of Commerce does come in, that you give them consideration as well. And it really frees up, again, a lot of time and energy from staff to do what they do best, and that's to make things in our particular city, small town, done right. So I appreciate your support in that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. I was going to ask if there was anybody else, but
Yeah,
beat me to the punch.
My name is Wayne Kilmer. I'm with the Citrus Vets and Commercial Car Club. I just wanted to touch on a couple of things that John had spoke about, and one of them is our annual car show. Our first car show that was held in the square was more of a local thing. All of our car shows were local. Now, since we've moved to the local location where it is now, it has quickly grown from a local to we are now pretty much a premier car show in the state of Florida. And like I said, like John was saying, they're coming from all over the state, all over the country. We're having people come from New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, I mean everywhere, and it's growing. the amount of positive response we get. The first year, we had so many emails from people that, wow, what a show. We also work with Hope Wilkins and the Sunshine Boutique. She gathers all the vendors for the marketplace that was held in around the courthouse. Last year we had to turn away quite a few vendors, and we don't want to do that this year. So we want to be able to make sure that we can get enough vendors, and get what we need to have the show continue to grow. And like I said, last year we had probably 165,000 cars. The city reported about 6,000 people. Now, seeing that the city of Inverness' population is about 7,000, that's quite a bit. So we are growing. We are pretty much a premier car show in the state of Florida now. So I really hope that you would seriously consider the mayor's request and we can continue to grow and continue to help the local vendors and businesses grow, because they really enjoy us doing that and all the extra business they get. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I am Crystal Lizanich, Inverness City Councilwoman. First, I want to thank all of the local businesses, the artists, and all the people who came up and spoke to y'all. It takes a lot of time out of their day, and it's amazing that they've shown up to support us. I also want to thank y'all for listening and seeing how passionate people are about our city. I don't have much more to add because I think everybody has kind of spoken. So I just want to say thank you for your consideration, and thank you for listening to everything we have all had to say. That is it.
Thank you. Is there, I almost hate to ask. Go ahead. Is there anybody else?
I've been trying. Well, thank you for inviting everybody here today. And my name's Paul Hurtinson. I'm from Inverness. I'm with the Inverness Arts and Culture Alliance. We're kind of the new guys on the block. We were formed about a year ago for the purposes of bringing entertainment to the city of Inverness and throughout the county. I've lived here for a long time. We've lived just about everywhere in the county. Crystal River, Homosassa, we've been there. We started out in Inverness about 30 years ago, so we settled in there. Been there permanently now the last 7 years. For a while, I just watched what was going on in the city, and it's amazing what they have done in the past couple of years in bringing entertainment to this county. We're new, so you don't know a lot about us. Our volunteers last year were in charge of the Inverness Festival of the Arts. It was proclaimed by not only the visitors, but also the media that it was the finest festival that the Inverness had ever put on. They're also doing a lot of other things that have not been mentioned yet, which is going to bring a lot of visitors to our county, not just for the manatees in the winter, but the year round. So I'm here. I can't repeat everything that was said. I stayed up all night last night just about trying to come up with things to say, but I believe they've all been said. So what I'd like to say is you as a council group have an obligation for tourism in this county. It also includes Inverness, which is really stepping up to the plate to make things happen for this county. A lot of things are going to happen you're not aware of yet that is going to draw lots of people to this county, and not just during the scallop season, not just during the manatee season, but year-round. So I would like for you to take a look at this in a business atmosphere. We're doing things that allows you to collect a lot of the money you're collecting. Help us continue that by sharing some of it with us so that we can even provide avenues to create even additional income for the tourism committee. So I'm asking you if you would just put your hearts in place and do the right thing for our county and for our community and the people who live here and pay our taxes. Thank you.
Thank you. Going once? Going twice? Okay, I'll close it. There'll be another open to public session later. So moving on to item D1, the discussion of an interlocal agreement with the City of Inverness for tourism promotion. Frank, are you going to do an intro or just turn it over to Eric?
I think we should do the PowerPoint presentation, and then we can do the discussion. Yep.
Good morning. I apologize. I'm a little allergy ridden. One of the other neat attractions we have here in Citrus County is an unusual amount of pollen, it would seem. So we didn't have any pollen businesses, but those who are looking to diversify, go somewhere else. We don't want that. We don't want a pollen business. A lot's been said here today. Why are these people here today? Because they are the community. They are the people that are driving this industry. They are the people that, without their success, we die. But I've come to this board for years, my predecessor for years, and one thing you've always communicated to us, we want to hear from people. We want to see numbers. Well, you're hearing it. It's not just going to be me standing here giving you a presentation. You're hearing real life stories. You're hearing the impact, the touchable moments in the community that tourists are having happen here. Is it this one, the gold one, or the silver one? Of course, it's the gold one. We got to get a gold one where we are. Let's talk about what we're requesting today. Over a year ago, probably close to 2 years now, myself and at the time city manager of Crystal River, Ken Frank, began to discuss, some concepts of how we can look to best make efficient, best make the opportunity available, best fulfill what you all have asked in the past as opportunities to participate without overburdening additional costs to the public treasury, be it from general fund taxation or tourist tax. One of those things is the consistent having to come back on an individual basis for events. Every time this event, every time our staff fills out an application, goes through the process, goes through the council, goes through a board, they're coming here, you're going through a process, somebody else is going through a process. That's public money. These people don't live on public money. These people, and they're bringing tourists in, they live on real money that's out in the economy. And the more that we can stray away from the need of that public expenditure and get that into the hands and into the economy of what tourism is in Citrus County, the better we're going to be. So a concept began to develop on two fronts. One you have all talked about, which is infusion into capital projects that are brought for you on an individual basis. That probably will always remain that way. But you probably aren't going to be making annual appropriations for this much capital each year to the two cities. It's understandable. As it relates, though, to destination management and marketing, both entities, as well as Citrus County, I'm sure, are experiencing an increased cost of dealing with tourists being in their community. And that's okay. We want that. But we have, now they have to give us money for tourism. That's the penalty. It's okay, but we need to understand that part of what's driving that, in large part, are people coming here using our facilities. Inverness's side of things is more of a request for the marketing funding and the destination management of partnering with our various promoters, our various public-private partnerships. We do that now. That cost has not gone down, it's gone up. And this is an opportunity for us to bring you all on as a partner, not as a silent partner, not as something that we just mentioned, but upfront, on the cover partner of the TDC with the city on our events. And we feel that that's an important thing. If you just look at this current slide that's on there, we do over 100, just the city, over 100 free events. We're not going to list all 100 events. I've just put down a slate of some of the premier ones. And if you look at Cooter-Tober, that used to be Cooter Fest, one weekend. Now this is a month long. We've only done that 1 year, and the success was amazing. We could not have done that without the partnership that we had with Twisted Ink. And then sub to that, the partners that you've heard in the room that all participated with that. Most people in this room, beyond just with Twisted Ink, they were all part of making that event happen. But it takes money. It takes the ability to see an ROI. When you look at Patriotic Evening, we're bringing in over 15,000 people in one night. I joked with several law enforcement agencies that come to the table to help us do that, man, we've gone too far. I mean, try being the city manager knowing you got that many people sitting out there. It just takes one incident, right? But it's great. Our patrons that come here from all over the state to come to that event, they're well behaved. It's a great time. They ask the minute they're leaving what's going to be next year. You're going to find that out here in a few days, hopefully. But what an amazing opportunity. The Big Bass Bluegrass and Barbecue, you know, I can tell you that event started basically across a lunch table with myself and my dear friend who's passed on, Mr. Bega. And now, almost 15 years later, you know, this event's probably one of the biggest amateur fishing tournaments in the state of Florida. With the partnership with M&B Dairy and the McClellans, you know, we're bringing in a 15-time Grammy Award-winning bluegrass artist, Dan Tabinski, who was the soundtrack for the Brother Where Art Thou movie. I mean, these are not small things. These are major, major entertainers here. You know, this Florida Nature Coast Bike Festival is going to be really the first of its kind in Citrus County. What an amazing organization. They are organized, they are put together, they are going to get it done, and you're going to see Whispering Pines Park come to life like we've not seen with a diversity. Light Up the Lake, I mean, that is an event that doesn't happen just because of the city. That's an event that literally the community comes out, they touch a light pole, they're bringing people in to decorate. Our partnerships with folks like at the Cove that make that boat parade happen, it's amazing. Thousands of people down there enjoying that from all over. We heard people bringing their boats and being part of that from all over the state of Florida. What an amazing thing. The Festival of the Arts this year was absolutely, it's unbelievable. I mean, just thousands of people walking the streets of Inverness, mostly from out of the area. Small Town Saturday Night with Steve Sherdell and his partnership, that started off, I remember telling the staff, you know, 800 people were good. The first one we did, it got to 3,000. I was bringing in law enforcement, not because we needed it, just because you should have that when you get that many people. But this last event, easily 5,000. We've never had a crowd like that in downtown. Well-behaved, businesses running out of food, businesses selling out of product. That's a good thing. That's an amazing thing. They're ready for the next. We've gone ahead and laid out the next 3 cycles of that, which we've not done in the past, but we know that that's a proven factor. The Valerie Theater is a cultural dynamic in this county that is unbelievable. I used to joke that I always had 2 seats there that I could use. I can't even get a seat in there. I mean, I literally try and buy tickets, and I can't get a ticket in there, which is incredible. And you look at things like the market at the depot, the success of that, I would arguably say that's probably the biggest market now in Central Florida, if not approaching in Florida for that type of market. So much so that we're having to add 2 more days to it during the work week. And just the 100+ vendors that are there, we have another 100+ that are in the wings just wanting to be there. So, I mean, it's an amazing thing that we're doing. I tell you this. That's just the things from a very small list. That's not movies in the park. That's not teens night. That's not sports tourism. That's just a very small amount of things. It's an incredible thing. And financially, the impact to the community is real. I'll just go through just a couple of visuals because I'm a visual person. You know, we're not just throwing numbers out that aren't real. You know, when you look at that bottom right, that is people in the street on a Saturday night. They call it Small Town Saturday Night. I joke and say any given Saturday we could do that because this community has a reputation and people want to be here. You know, when you look at our bigger events and the artists we bring in, we're bringing in major, major artists now that people want to see that. They want to see that. They want to come be part of that. And we have people that come here to some of our bigger concerts that say, we came here because we don't want to go back over there. We don't want to go fight in traffic in Orlando or Tampa. This is easy. Man, we love this. This is great. How do I come back on a weekend? In particular, that July 3rd event gets more receptivity from folks coming back within a few weeks to go back to Crystal River, come to visit more in the town. It's an amazing effect that we have. And I encourage everyone this July to check it out. You know, the Big Bass Bluegrass and Barbecue, I would tell you definitely that's going to be one that's going to become an absolute phenom in the state of Florida. Bluegrass is coming back. We have an opportunity to capture that and be the biggest in the state. Dale is a powerhouse in helping that happen, so I see that going great places. But let's talk about the things we've had a long, long time. Trail tourism. You know, just in our local area, almost $63 million impact annually. You know, when you look at the sales tax revenues that are proportionally shared by all the governments in Citrus County, it's an amazing thing. Cycling is one of these opportunities that is not something you can put on a big event all the time, but you put on the events you put on and people can come and self-utilize a trail. They stay overnight. They are a major overnight stay component to the city of Inverness. Let's talk about cultural arts. You know, passionately, I can say, not only myself, but the current city council and staff, cultural arts is huge. That has been sort of an untapped resource and opportunity in Citrus County and in the city. And we have really done a 180 to try and focus on that with a number of things, especially at the Valerie Theater. You know, it's an amazing amount of patronage that is going on there. We just had our gala, second annual gala there with sponsors and support folks there enjoying the theater. And they're looking now at a slate of events that, as Miss Whitney, who came up here and spoke, said, you know, it used to be movies. I would remember with the staff, it was movies. We got all these movies. And I remember a meeting with, they may not remember it, but maybe they do, I hope they do, Linda Bega and Sue Whitney, where we sat in my office almost 5 years ago, and we talked about the goal is to have more live shows than movies. And that's happened. And that's an amazing thing. And those people are the reason why it's happening, these people you hear from today. And that's not going anywhere. That's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. You know, sports tourism, we have really focused on that as well at Whispering Pines. That is a huge economic sink in Florida. I mean, just the footprint in Florida is over, you know, billions of dollars impact annually. We got to get our share of that. The state of Florida believes in that, so much so that they're spending over $1 million to help construct a new entrance into that park that's far more viable to bring people in. They have an interest in seeing that facility, which they own, by the way, become something more than it is. And it's going to take all of us working together to do that. You know, I'll say this. One of the things that we've learned is that none of this is going to happen without community engagement. If you take one thing away from today, beyond the opportunity to be part of this, is that this is not city staff doing all the work. That used to be the model. We'll do all the work. We came here, asked you for money. You pay us, we'll do the work. That money is going directly into marketing. That money is going directly into promotional opportunities. That money is going directly into the hands of people that are looking to draw people in here. You've heard from these people. These are these people. And there's more. This is just a subset of people. That's not going away. Our business model is going to stay that course, and we are wanting you to be part of that business model. This is our opportunity with you to say, come be part of that engagement business model with us. The other thing I would tell you is diversity. You know, beyond the ideas of what we know have worked here, the other thing when you see and hear from all these folks, it's diverse. It's incredibly diverse. There is no, anyone who's got a retirement here that's not diversified, go diversify it. You know, your own personal well-being represents and relies on diversity, and so does our economic base in a service economy. So part of a big feature of this is helping us support bringing that diversity into opportunities for folks to come from all walks of life, all interests. It's an amazing thing. I can also tell you that, you know, contracts, you're not approving a contract, by the way, today. You know, this is an opportunity for us to impart to you that we hope we could get your support as a recommendation to take to the Board of County Commissioners so that they can approve a contract. And with the draft contract that we provided is not something that we crafted from our own hands completely. This is done all over the state of Florida. These contracts exist between cities and counties. Why is that? Because the state legislature set out the lodgers or tourism tax to be administered by the Board of County Commissioners in constitutionally defined counties. And so these contracts exist for that purpose. and we have a great relationship with the county. Today, I would arguably tell you it's the best it's ever been. Are there always issues? Yeah, listen, you want there to be issues because that means we can work through them together and succeed. And I think that that's the case in today's environment. They've said a lot. I don't need to say a lot more. I want to answer any questions, concerns that you may have, but you've got a great support group here that believe in you, just as I do. And we're looking forward to making this not only an opportunity for Inverness, but this can be a blueprint to how you work with Crystal River and the Chamber. They need that opportunity too. So thank you for letting me talk, as nasally as I may sound, and I'll free to answer any questions or concerns.
Thank you, Eric. Questions? Who wants to open it up?
I've got no questions, but definitely got some comments when I was right.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you, everybody, for coming here. And I don't stand before you as Ken Frank. I stand before you as a city council member, so I represent the city council and over 3,000 residents from the city of Crystal River. And on behalf of them, the city wholeheartedly and enthusiastically supports this. And let me get into some reasons why I'm saying that. Mayor Bob, you hit the nail on the head. And it's no fault of anybody in this room, but the process to get $5,000 to sponsor an event or whatnot, I'll just say it's a pain in the ass. It's very cumbersome. It takes, you have to go through probably 3 months worth of time before you even know for sure if the money's locked in, I'm guessing. How many? 4 or 5? And to try and run a business or an event with that uncertainty at the end of the game, you just can't do it. So this checks all those boxes. I've watched Eric, back when the COVID money and the CARES money was flowing in. He took a pot of that money and now it's a finite pot, it's gonna run out. So I understand why you're asking for this, but he took that money, and that's what you're seeing here. I mean, he invested back into events, back in the community, and he set the model for how to do it right. So, and he can do it quick, and he can do it efficiently, and people can move on with their events knowing that there's some certainty that they're gonna get the money. Number two, I don't think there's any doubt, I can look over here, most of the money that's collected from TDC comes from the west side. But I will say enthusiastically, from every resident on that side of the county, anything we can do to move the balance or the center of gravity of tourism farther towards the east, we're going to welcome it. And this does exactly that. So thank you. Last, and this is the last couple meetings, because the city of Crystal River had a request, and there were some current concerns about setting precedents. And Jackie, I think you led the charge with that. But the issue is that this probably sets precedents, at least from the county on certain levels, but it's good to hear that other counties are doing it. That's what boards do. We set precedents. And if we did not set precedents, we wouldn't need to be here. We just give them an approved stamp and we don't have to meet anymore. So let's set this precedence and move forward with it. So that's all I got to say.
Just if I could just make one comment to that. One of the things that Ken articulates very well is that if what you're going to do is fill the hotels you have, then you can invest in a certain way to do that. If what you want to do is fill the hotels you have and draw interest to build other opportunities, RV parks, overnight stay facilities, you have to invest to make that happen. And not to create competition for the current hoteliers, but it is something that you would have to do to draw those people into that. And I think that's a very articulate point.
Max?
I want to say, and this is not as an Inverness resident, I support this wholeheartedly on 3 counts. You've heard all the tourism and tourism-related benefits and things that are going on, but I want to talk about, first of all, governance and responsibility. For the last couple of years, I either go to or watch all the city council meetings. We have an incredibly cohesive city council that comes to meetings prepared, that discusses and asks hard questions, and they're darn good stewards of money. And so by diversifying the staff work, and at the same time, I will tell you, increasing the efficiency, we're going to do better with our overall tourism dollars. And then the last thing that I was going to talk about trail tourism, but Eric already did that. But the trail tourism is more centered on the other side, and that leads to sustainable tourism and sustainable ecotourism for our whole county by diversifying it. But particularly, we haven't leveraged geography in the past. There's a whole bunch of money in the villages, there's a whole bunch of money in Ocala, and there's even money in Denellen that they've gone after in these last 5 years and that they're bringing into the county. It's not just about bringing tourism from Europe or outside. By state definition, it's from one county to bring money in, and they're doing that. So because of efficiency and because of stewardship, we really need to support the mayor's request and what you've heard, the city's rationale for what they can do for us so we can do a better job for the hard parts, for Homosassa, for Floral City, for all the areas that can grow, and they'll continue to do the fantastic job they've been doing.
I have a comment. I'll make it short and sweet. I think if you look at the macro level, we collect about $2.5 million every year. So if you allocate like 10% or 15% of the money and give it to the chamber and the two cities, this problem won't be there because they won't have to come again and again. And at the end of each year, they tell us where they spend the money and make it simple.
Jackie?
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Mike. I'm not going to belabor this because y'all know I can talk, but I've been beat out by the best out here. Yes, we're asking for this money, but let me tell you, yes, the city is doing the asking, but it's not for the city per se. I'm asking for all those people out there. They're the tourist industry in this county, and when we help them, you help us, we help them even more. So it's, I'm very passionate about it. It make me just proud. I was sitting here going, wow, I forgot we did that. But we're asking for these people, and God bless all of y'all, and thank you for coming here today, because I know this isn't how you planned on spending your morning. But thank you. So I would, again, we recommend. We don't make binding decisions. We recommend, and I would just pray that y'all would join me in recommending that the county approve it, because then we'll set the precedent. Crystal River can follow the chamber, and it just makes sense for tourist and advertising dollars and it would streamline everybody's form of government. So, thank you.
I obviously agree 100%. Great presentation. You guys did a good job. Thank you for all you do for the community of Inverness. And this is how we spend tourism dollars. I know all of the visitors we get at our facility. I drove through there today. Every one of them had 2 and 3 bikes and 2 and 3 kayaks with their RVs. So they're doing a lot of activities, and they're here for days, weeks. So.
Michael?
I mean, my only comment is 150,000 enough. Because you guys just spread out.
Don't ask him that.
Like everybody gets $2.
15% of our budget.
Should this be like a biannual thing maybe or something? You ever thought about that?
You know, I think that it's a good positioning to begin with. And I say that because there's a time and place where these things will grow over time. It's not reasonable to expect that that's always going to be in a stagnant motion. That's why we have these consumer price indexes and all these things, right? Your water goes up, your garbage goes up. But for us, sustainability-wise, of being able to continue what we have and grow in a measure, it's a good start for us. I would be remiss if you just want to do more, absolutely. But remember, I also think there's an equity position, as you, I'm sure, share the same, as you are going to have, I believe, the City of Crystal River and the Chamber of Commerce. And that starts to, in aggregate fashion, become an amount of money that when I examine your budget, it's reasonable and it doesn't create a harm, if that makes sense. You can afford it reasonably.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
Michael?
Again, 100% behind wanting to promote more, do more, have more. Streamlining the systems, get out of bureaucracy is great. However, with that said, we've had the same process for the 8, 9, 10 years I've been on the board, and you guys can't get it together to get here ahead of time. So just FYI, some of it's on you as well. My thing is it what we use our TDC dollars for? I think the agreement should be written in conjunction with our lawyers that represent the TDC, limit our liability. And our grant system has always been a system where we added money to money that was being done to promote this, is that part of this? Or is
Well-
this just $150,000 that replaces what you're already doing? Because growth is what we all want.
So 2 points. One, not to be disrespectful, but you don't have contracts as a TDC with entities. The Board of
Right.
County Commissioners
County
does.
Commissioners, right.
And
No, we
that's
just
been
represent that.
That's been a circulating discussion about the legality as it effectuates to this board.
Right.
It's really within the BOCC.
Correct.
I'll answer that a step further. In state law, Chapter 163 expressly spells out intergovernmental coordination in there for interlocal agreements that cover a veracity of things beyond this, and they do it every day of the week, from group utilities, from sharing of general fund revenues,
Right.
from sharing of MSBUs, MSTUs. It happens all the time, and the accountability portion of that, we're much different as a city than a private entity. Our accountability legally is the exact same as the Board of County Commissioners. If you hand us $1, the Board of County Commissioners is not charged with saying, did the city spend it correctly? Once the city signs that interlocal under the auspice of that Chapter 163, we are taking that burden upon ourselves, and they're audited every year subsequent to that. So I would want to build the confidence with you that I don't foresee there being something as an issue of the expense of that money being outside what the context of the statutes say. The second piece to that is this is most certainly a growth pattern for us, okay? We have stabilized with the COVID event grant program an amount that will always remain annually from current revenues. This isn't to supplant or replace that, okay? This would be on top of what remains because we have spent that money down, but in laying that out, I laid out a growth pattern to where we had annual revenues that would begin to fill into the back of that and not have it be something that just dissipated. I'll give you an example. When we first started that grant program, it funded things at 80%. Then it went to 50, and now it's at 25. And eventually it will dissipate for those types of events that no longer need it. The folks using the Valerie Theater are very much getting to a self-sustainable business model. But remember, that's in part because we're taking on the lion's share of marketing and promotion for not only the Valerie Theater itself, but for the city as a whole. And you need that complex dynamic of all of the things being advertised together to make it happen. In terms of, is this something that would not be representative of the TDC? Again, we most certainly want you there with us arm in arm at events, as introductions, your logo, all of those things. But, you did
read the email.
Yeah, the idea that, well, it's a small town, Michael.
Yeah. I'm just trying to protect,
I've
again,
been
our
here a
job is
long
to be a
time.
steward of the money, to protect the citizens' revenue and how it's spent. And as long as it's legal, ethical, and moral, I'm all for it. And I think the more events we have, the better. God bless you. Thank you for showing the support. I wish you guys would show up every week. Every month. It makes the meeting much more fun.
I'll address your concerns about coming through the process before. We've made all this happen.
Yes.
It wouldn't have happened if we'd have stuck with that process.
Perfect. No, I think streamlining is great. I've always been a proponent of dollar for dollar match, and as long as we're spending the money in the right place and we're protected against the liability and everything's going in the right direction, more power to us all.
Absolutely, 100%.
Hey, likewise, the 21 of you that spoke, thank you for being here. Thank you for speaking. I heard about some activities I never knew about. So it's always good to hear about more things going on. I'm just, likewise with my fellow board members, I'm certainly in favor of it, but it devil's in the details a little bit. And that wasn't in the interlocal that I saw. And I know that's a draft and, the county needs to get into it, such as, will the logo, will the Discover Crystal River logo need to be on everything? Are all the events, the 100-some events, are they all listed on the Discover Crystal River website currently? If not, they should be. It's an opportunity to help spread the word. I think there's some opportunities to help each other. Frank and team are the marketing experts, so I don't want to take resources away from them if they're the marketing experts. The only other caveat I'd toss in there is rather than a fixed dollar amount, I'd prefer to see a percentage of the TDT from the prior year revenue. So right now, we're in a bit of a downturn, and that way, if that turn continues, we haven't fixed set a fixed number that we need to adhere to. Plus, that also incentivizes everybody that's receiving a percentage to grow the TDT revenue, which is the overnight stays. While yes, anybody from another county is a tourist, I get it, but if they don't stay in a hotel or vacation rental, there's no revenue funding that for next year's payment.
Sure, and part of that is looking at how you're bringing people in and giving them opportunities, which obviously a huge diversity here. All of your governmental funds, whether they're TDC, general taxation, and all of your interlocals are governed by this one little statement in there, based on annual appropriation. If any governmental agency working with another starts to find their way to not having the funds to support something, they're not obligated to have to meet that amount if they can't make the appropriation. That was long ago instilled by state law. So there's a lot of things that from a technical government perspective of working inside of that intergovernmental section of the state statutes that are protective to another government. It's not as simple as a contract you may have with a private organization that they're bound to have to bring a whole different level of liability, demonstrative, what are you doing, what's your track record. Us as a government have a standard that's the same as the BOCC financially. So we're bound to that. We're obligated under statute to do that annually. So we would most certainly have no issue working with their attorneys. Their attorney has had this for months. And I don't know what their comments are to date because as last I checked, we haven't received any back.
Fair enough.
Detailed question, it talks about it being funded by the Special Projects Fund. Is that the first year and then it would become a normal annual in the budget kind of thing afterwards? How does that play? Again, just details we got to work out.
Exactly, that's a detail. I mean, currently there's $2 million in that special projects fund, so that's a lot of capital to deploy.
Yeah, no, I want to use it.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know after the initial start, does it go into the regular budget on an annualized basis?
I mean, it would make sense if you adopt, the Board of County Commissioners adopts a 3-year agreement. That's the best way to do it.
So this was an item for, go ahead, Terry.
Sorry. Hey, Eric, just out of curiosity, can you tell me about approximately ballpark how much money was spent marketing the events in Inverness just in last fiscal?
Well, so how we do that, we have our own pot of money, which gets close to $100,000 in aggregate. And we use that money across multiple platforms between, say, regional newspapers, between social media boosting, but we also have media content creators that we contract with, and they're local people, they're local businesses that live and work here. That's what they do. When we look at a marketing program for the city, one thing that we try and do is build stability in what events we know are coming. We typically try and do it event to event. So, for example, I'll pick on the Chronicle because I love the Chronicle. We went to them and said, we need something a little out of the box of what you're used to. We want a set of advertising blocks that have digital marketing, regional marketing, those things. And we need it in a strata where for big events it's this, there's mid-size and there's small size. So year to year, it depends on the event. If we start to shift that event from, say, it's a big event this year from that contract to where we say, well, we need to focus more media content, the number generally stays the same because we're operating within a budget, but we will shift between vendors almost like an a la carte fashion. We found that to be very successful versus, just guaranteed annual marketing contracts to companies.
Do you have a public relations effort through the city and/or would that be an independent thing you'd look at doing?
Say again?
PR, public relations effort? Company?
I'd like to say every day we're doing PR, but yes, I don't know necessarily how to answer that question because I don't know what you mean necessarily by that.
Hire a public relations company or have a person in the department that is sole function is to do public relations for this event program.
So within our Parks and Rec, we have multiple people that at least probably half of their time is that, yes.
Okay, any other comments?
We're not shifting any of this money into salaries. That's not going to happen if that's a concern.
Frank, what do you need from us to move forward?
So today we're looking for consensus to move forward, and that would allow our county attorney to work further on a draft agreement, and that's what we're looking for today.
I vote yes. Move forward. Go for it.
Well, yeah, it was an item for discussion versus,
Motion or anything, or we gonna have a motion, or we gonna
yeah,
have?
but there's no motion.
Just
needed.
consensus, yeah.
I think the consensus from the comments was to explore it further and move it forward and, tweak the details, as far as what pot of money from the budget and, details on dollar amount and all those things.
Sure, and I did receive feedback from some members of the board, so I'll forward that to the county attorney to try to draft that agreement based on those comments.
So for our understanding, the next step would be, for our involvement, would be with the BOCC?
Essentially, if we can get the comments in there, then that would be the draft agreement to the BOCC, and approval would allocate the funds.
So we would work with staff to fine tune the comments that the board sends into you all?
I think that makes sense. Is this board comfortable with that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, enthusiastically.
So it's great. Thank you very much. I hope everyone has a great Valentine's Day.
So, thank
I'll
you.
be in Inverness.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. I actually need to go Valentine's Day shopping
Yeah.
on the way home.
And as we move forward, since we've got an audience, last week up in Tallahassee, I learned that the average household in the state saved $1,800 because of tourism. So the average household in Florida is 2 people, so that means the residents of Inverness saved about $6.3 million in taxes because of tourism. Likewise, Crystal River was 3,300, so $2.9 million was saved by the residents of Crystal River because of tourism. So that's thanks to the effort of the staff in Visit Florida and everybody else involved in tourism. We all owe them about $900 worth of support each year. So,
I take checks.
Before we move on, if you don't mind, one of the items that it was in the paper was the working group on, for standards. And I just realized halfway through the public comment that it wasn't on the agenda explicitly. So would you mind if we inserted that here?
It was raised from the floor, so you can comment based on response to the comments.
I was gonna ask about it anyway, so.
Okay, and I was going to later, so it's just a sequence issue. Is that okay?
Yes, it is okay. I was going to offer, I did want to respond to that public comment. If you wanted me to, I've got some points, or you could respond, up to you. Those questions were essentially the next step where we were going, so.
Right.
Up to you, Mike.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had some of the same questions that Robin raised. So go ahead, Frank, because
Okay.
you might have them written down.
I did. I took some notes during the comment, so hopefully that representative of META is still here. So, number one, participation in the work group. I think a META representative would be a great idea, of course, to include on that work group, just to have a voice in the discussion. There was a question about the chief complaint. Well, it's not necessarily a chief complaint, but it's more of a desire to get in front of issues. We want a safe experience for the manatees. We want swimmers, boaters, having a safe experience, but we also want to protect the environment. So, I hate to say it, but we've all seen those pictures of, 16 swimmers with pool noodles surrounding a manatee. That is not what we want to project. So even though we have excellent permitting and good operators out there, there are still those incidents that, are detrimental to what we're trying to do. So that is, I think, why this board brought this forward. The manatee tours, getting a best practices designation or seal could certainly be a template for safe scalloping and ecotourism related activities like that, right? So, for example, what criteria? Well, are these operators using a boat anchor or a mooring system that doesn't damage eelgrass, right? Because on one hand, we're supporting eelgrass, which supports manatees and scallops in the fishery. But if we don't have stewardship for something as simple as an anchor that's accepted by folks protecting seagrass, that is a big glaring hole in our strategy. So that's kind of just a short version, not to belabor it. Incentives, we could easily offer discounted rates to post on the Discover Crystal River website, participation in familiarization tours. So we host people from outside the community to come here, eat at our restaurants, go out on manatee tours, go up in an airplane, take an airboat ride, all these different basket of experiences, and we could offer that as that first level, as that incentive. We talked about a little bit of the criteria. Enforcement was brought up, and Ken's really the expert on this because Ken's worked for years to try to understand. It's a Byzantine environment of regulation out there when you're talking about our springs and our waters, multiple agencies. So, I had sent communication to this board that we look at enforcement as something, maybe the final step in that, because that is going to be the biggest lift, is understanding what that means. And the interest here is not to limit people from participating in the economy, obviously. It's just that, I've worked in some really environmentally sensitive places, Puerto Rico, Hawaii, places that really have had some challenges. And one of the best things is, adopting standards like the Leave No Trace. Okay, Leave No Trace has been out there for probably 30 years. But what that means is you go into an environment and you return, and there's no trash, there's no footprints on the shore of Three Sisters Spring. You haven't caused that kind of damage. It's a basic level, but that would establish us as an ecotourism leader. I think that's what I had.
Right. And I guess one of the first questions that was asked, and was kind of mine too, is, are we focused on just manatee tours or ecotourism? I was in a meeting the other day at the chamber, and it was about the eelgrass scars from boating in St. Martin's Keys. So, scalloping and boating and fishing is ecotourism, and there's environmental impacts there. So what do we want the scope to be, and what latitude as chairing the working group do I have on the composition, or do you, as peers here, want to say what the competition should be as the type of representatives? I'm looking for guidance on where do we go from here.
I've been front and center in this, and the kind of the public punching bag from the residents on and I don't want to pick on any industry, so let me not pick on that, but I would suggest, because this is a big lift, I would suggest you just stick with manatee tours for now, and look at the next step further, at least get that solved. But there's nobody in this room that I know of that, Robin, Paul, Mike, you guys are really good stewards out there. As the city, when I was a city manager, if there's ever an issue with one of your captains, I would call up, and you guys were all over it. You addressed it. So it's not you guys. It's the kind of these out-of-towners that are just really bad players. And I live on a canal across the river, and you'll see these guys just planing down the canal almost to try and get to that manatee as quick as possible. Nobody's really telling them what to do. So I don't think this process was intended to be government over intervention, but there needs to be some sort of government intervention. What I was going to bring up on this is I could see, especially if there's an enforcement action that results in this, you may want to get somebody from the city or law enforcement on this group. I'm not sure if they're on there or not, just to kind of get ahead of it so we can make sure that that's something that's, if there's legislative actions that has to take place at the tail end.
And I guess going back, and this is where I'm confused, if it's the out-of-towners or the smaller operators who don't participate and are just hitting the minimum and we're trying to raise the bar, what is their incentive to meet whatever standards or guidelines or whatever we come up with? If there's no incentive and there's no realistic punishment, what's the change that's going to come out of it?
I'll tell you a big one. They're using these people are using public ramps to launch. And maybe for those that have been through the program, it's free. And those for an out-of-towner that hasn't gone through the program, it's $500 a launch. I don't know. That's an incentive.
Right.
Another incentive is what Frank said, is to be listed as a recommended. These are the recommended tour boat operators that we know have the right training, that we know they have the insurance. Whatever you guys come up with, you could list them. And if you don't go through the process, you're not listed, and that could be a big care for folks.
All over the country, there are communities that certify eco-sustainable tourist guides. And when you get a seal like that, and it's got somebody's name on it, whether it's Citrus County or the municipalities, when you do that, that in itself gets them more business. And then when you couple that with incentives, including, you know, that program in our advertising, and then listing who they are, discounts on launches, there's a lot that can grow from this. And I think it's got to be crawl, walk, run. The first thing we do is concentrate on preventing the negatives with regard to manatees, and then hopefully over the next 2 or 3 years, we grow into looking at sustainable ecotourism. And while the county, through the strategic plan, is looking at sustainability in general, because that handle, not everybody gets it, but sustainability is keeping things as wonderful as they are to the maximum extent we can. And we've all got skin in that game, but to give the manatee money community skin in the game is where it starts.
Okay, thank you. So my spitballing idea of forming a committee was myself, a META representative, a Crystal River Tour Company that's got rental boats, a Crystal River Tour Company that does scallop charters, a Crystal River-based kayak company, a Homosassa-based manatee tour company, because for the most part they aren't involved in META and they're not subject to the SUP requirements in Homosassa. I Save Crystal River, representative from the Chamber of Commerce, and after the article was in the paper, I started getting calls asking somebody representing the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, the volunteer programs, the Manatee Watch, the folks on kayak, because they're out there, you know, with their observations. So does that seem like a representative way to go? And do I have the consensus from you all to move forward with sending out invites?
Yes. And then also me.
Oh, right, and Alyssa's the representative from the visitor, you know, VCB.
Mike, this is your committee, but you may want to include like a resident that is, you know, kind of dealing with it from that perspective. You know, pick somebody that lives on the water and sees this all the time. And again, just a representative from both the county and the city, as you guys may lead to something that ends up into some, you know, legislative actions from those bodies.
Okay, that put us up about 12 or 13, so it's not getting too unwieldy, but we're getting borderline unwieldy.
But I don't think they would need a representative from the county or city as long as they come back and do periodic reports here.
Okay.
The reason I say it's, you know, maritime law that deals with all this is very convoluted. So just to get that input up front, you know, if there's any issues, you know, like anchoring to legislate, the cities and the counties can't legislate what type of anchoring to use unless you go through a certain process, you know, and that's possible.
So.
I think you gotta go ahead, Mike.
Okay, that's a thumbs up, more or less? Okay. All right, moving on to item E, the Director Media Report. Is that Terry or Frank?
Yep, sure. So we are down a little bit, 5.09%, but the good news is we were down 12 last month, so things are trending. I think that's a statewide thing. I guess we could do next slide. And then Alyssa. Yep.
Oh, okay. Hello, Alyssa Hofelt for the Tourism Department. And I wasn't here last month because I was a little under the weather. So we're going to go back in time just 1 month and kind of recap what I wasn't here to kind of focus on. We had a really good end of November to end of December. We were coming off the beginning of manatee season, and a couple of our higher performing social media posts. One was a live feed for a manatee to be put back into the Homosassa River, and that got almost 450,000 views, so it did quite well. And then, of course, Captain Tomey, always the man of the hour for our fishing page. He does a great job. I always thank him, and he has a great reputation, and the anglers seem to really like him. And then on Instagram, this was a very high-performing video. It was actually done by a couple that we had come in as influencers. It was Chris Locke and Julia Thompson. They're a young couple from Canada, and they did a fantastic video about snorkeling with the manatees, and total that almost got over 450,000 views, so it did quite well. So that was the previous month. I just wanted to kind of highlight that a little bit. Then you can move on. And then this is our latest month. These are our best performing social media posts. The manatee stamp I actually found from Crystal River Water Sports. They had posted about it, and I had a feeling that it would do well, and it did. 80,000 views. Again, Captain Tomey again. And then this on the far right was a video that I created for the year-end kind of recap of 2023, and in the beginning of the video was a little cute baby manatee, and then it went into kind of a fast-paced what you can do, and I know, because it never plays. And what? It will?
I think
let's
they
see
should
if,
see it. It's really cool.
Usually it doesn't play, so let's see if it plays.
The 2023 season comes to an end. Good night.
So it was just kind of a very quick snapshot from everything from Floral City to Homosassa. Anyway, did pretty well there. And we can go.
So, on the stamp, the post office usually does a big to-do on the first state issue. Do we know, I assume it's gonna be somewhere local, do we have any clue when or what's gonna happen to that? Because that's certainly gonna be a PR opportunity.
I'll be honest, I did some research on that and I couldn't find anything. So I'll go back and see what I can find, and, cause I'm with you, it would be great to promote, and if it is local, I'd love to be there with a live feed, so, yeah, let me see what I can find. I did do a little research and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, maybe through the post office, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
We can ask Hayworth to research that for us as well.
Thank you.
All right, so these are our numbers for this month. The good news is that Discover Crystal River is now in second place again. We had lost a lot. We had fallen into third place, and we weren't getting a lot of new followers for a couple of reasons. But this month we did really well. If you can look on the under the insights for Instagram, we got 1,231 new followers. It's 166 increase, so it was really good. And then all of our numbers are way up. Our reach, our account engagement, really did well. Also very positive on the Facebook side. And yeah, so still, last month was great, and this most recent month, very positive.
May I take advantage of a situation that we have here before everybody leaves? If you are not on our Instagram page, please sign up for it. You will see how we represent and represent the entire county. And it also is great information to have for friends who are visiting out of town. So our Instagram page, Alyssa's done a fantastic job, and I would just ask you all to get involved with that.
I second that. Yeah, I mean, we do post about every single corner of the county. It is not just Crystal River. We do a lot for Inverness and Floral City. And actually, a couple of weeks ago, I went to the Floral City Heritage Foundation and gave a presentation and showed them what we were doing for them. And then in December, Terry and I went to the Inverness City Council meeting and did a presentation to them to show them everything we were doing for them. So thank you. That's good. Yeah. If you can follow us, please do. All right, so this is a list of our, some of our recent ones that have already been completed. These are our FAM tours and media tours, and then there are a couple that are coming up that we'll be hosting soon. And what? What? Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, so Southern Living is coming up. They're going to be landing here this week, February 16th to the 19th, and both Terry and I will be hosting them. And they're going to be exploring the county, and, you know, as she said, it is huge. They are a giant publication, and they are coming here and featuring us. So that was a coup for us to get them. Yeah. And then I'm going to move on, sorry about that. So I highlighted a few of our FAM tours. I would have done this last month, but I wasn't here. So this is actually a travel website. They get 23 million views a year. So they are big. When they post blogs, they'll get 40,000 comments. So it's Pablo Quilis. They're from Argentina. Terry and I hosted them. They were in Crystal River, Homosassa. They visited Inverness. They rode the Withlacoochee Trail. And they are just starting. I actually reached out to him yesterday, and they're just starting to post about us. And so Argentina is an emerging market. So just wanted to kind of show a little bit of their trip. Oh, and the dolphins. Yeah, sorry. So this bottom photo of the of Pablo and his wife and his daughter, they were on an evening dolphin trip, so I got that together for them, and they said that it was one of the most fantastic experiences of their life. So, but we'll be seeing more of their content. They just started posting about us. The next FAM trip is an interesting story. So George and Krista Prieto, they're content creators, and they came to Crystal River on their own dime. They created a lovely manatee video that they tagged Discover Crystal River in. I saw it because I run the account, and I thought the video was quite nice. And I reached out to them and said, would you like to come to the east side of the county? And sure enough, 5 minutes later, they said absolutely. And 2 weeks later, they came to the east side of the county. They stayed in Floral City at the Sunshine Lodge. They went fishing on out of Inverness, which was a big coup, apparently. We've been trying to get some influencers to do that, and this lovely couple did. I took them to Pudgy's, we went to Stump Knockers, we went to the Cove. So it was really, really, and Robin's Country Kitchen, if you're familiar with that, in Floral City. So it was a great, I think, a great success. They too started posting about the East Side yesterday, and if you go to our Instagram and Facebook page and you visit our stories, you'll see that I reshared some of their content already. But they're wonderful content creators, and they were lovely to host, and it was a great coup, I guess, to get them to go to the east side and really showcase what we have to offer on that side of the county. And let's see, what else? I have a couple other things. Yeah. Okay. So this is our overall PR reports, and on the top left is what we were doing last month, and this is what we were doing this month. So obviously you can see that it's increased quite a bit. We're getting back to, our normal numbers, because we were lagging there for a while, but everything's kind of bouncing back. So wanted to show you that. And then same thing with the next slide. On the top left was what we did the previous month, and this is what we're doing. This is what we did this month. So quite a big increase. And then I think the last slide I have is just a little anecdote that I wanted to share with you. So one night I was home, I was scrolling, and I came across this digital ad from Love Florida and the Florida State Parks. I believe, Max, you brought this ad up last month because I was watching the meeting from home. And so I looked through this. I wanted to see if we were mentioned, and they did a great job referring to Inverness and showcasing Inverness. They also did a good job with Crystal River. But with Homosassa, they actually didn't mention Homosassa. They mentioned the Chassahowitzka River, but then didn't mention Homosassa or the Crack or Seven Sisters. So I reached out to our PR firm, Brittany, who is our liaison to them. I asked her, can we change this? Can we alter this to represent us better? And her response was she wasn't sure because it's kind of tricky, but she was great. She reached out to them right away, gave them new copy, and literally 2 days later, it came up in my feed again. I checked it and it was already fixed. So I just wanted to bring that up because it's not all social media that we do or I do, and we do monitor how the media is representing us, and we always make sure it's in the best positive light, and that it represents where visitors can actually go, stay in a hotel, have fun, that sort of stuff. So I think that's it. Sorry to take up all of your time, but I wasn't here last month, so I had a lot to say. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Frank, anything on the financial reports to highlight?
We've got one more slide.
I guess I could just give you
I was going
this.
by my hard copy slide deck, sorry.
We got Kelly.
Do you want to? Okay, sure.
Hi, Kelly with Visitor Services. So these are just a few pictures that Alyssa took of us on Monday. Facilities came over and we rearranged the visitor center. It was Christine and I moving all the furniture around and actually doubled it in size. So now we've got a much larger welcome center. So when Terry and Alyssa came back in the office, they're like, "Oh my gosh, what did you do?" So it was kind of fun. But anyway, just kind of wanted to start reporting on like who we talked to in the visitor center. So we've had we've had visitors from like over 20 states. Michigan being the top one, and then followed by Indiana, New York, and Ohio. And then as far as we had a lot of Canadians, and then for other international travel, we've had folks from the Netherlands. Christina got to talk to a couple from Japan, and when she was talking to them, they were actually this was their only destination. They weren't like going to Tampa, Orlando, like they were coming to Citrus County, and we thought that was very good information. So we also had some folks from Colombia, which helped with the journalists when we had in here just recently probably, and then France and New Zealand. So yeah. And so hopefully moving forward, we'll have a better tracking system. This was just kind of impromptu, so hopefully we can have better numbers and information like that for you in the future. Thank you.
Oh, and the comment I made in person the other day is if you look in the center picture and you see all the pieces of paper taped, it'd be kind of neat if you guys were able to get some posters and put up some posters on those windows so we're not just seeing the backs of messages and notes that other staff are taping to windows.
It's that pesky city of Crystal River.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Yeah, I would comment that the reason this happened is essentially the lobby that used to work as the entrance for folks to visit is now the City of Crystal River's operating area. So we brainstormed with staff that how could reconfigure on a temporary basis that entry, and now there's a cross-counter interface with the folks. So there's a stool on one side, stool on the other, and I think it looks great. Staff did a fantastic job.
Yep.
It looks so good. You guys should come by and say hi. It looks amazing.
Yep, looks good.
Can I ask, have we ever considered having either a small satellite office or occasional visits to Inverness? Because there are a whole bunch of folks that first foray into the eastern side of the county that could be talked into seeing the rest, if especially since you've lost some square footage, if you could find a way to put it in the same place where our congressman and our state representative, in that same area downtown?
The short answer is yes. So there's going to be, I think, at the February 20th meeting, the Board of County Commissioners, there'll be a little bit of update on the space analysis, but that is in consideration. Certainly, it's been brought up to partner with both cities to have locations, and that is allowable under statute. So it's certainly, a good option. Yes.
Financial reports, Frank, any highlights?
Yeah, I think it's just updating the Special Projects Fund, 1.9 million, so close to $200 million. And that is a marketing and promotions fund. Sometimes folks don't, special project sounds like you're going to build something, but it's actually a marketing and promotions fund. And then the Capital Reserves Fund looks like about $655,000. That takes out the $262 that was for the City of Crystal River's restroom project. But that has been pulled, so that would put us at around $900,000 in Capital Reserves Fund.
Any questions on
Wasn't the
staff reports?
262 supposed to be half of that?
I'm not really sure. I think the 262 was the 75% projected, so I'm not sure why it's still on here.
We passed the motion at 50%.
It's,
I
I think it's 50%, 25 from the city, and then 25.
Okay, so yeah, that is a
Just for point
mistake.
of clarity, I mean, it's full
Yeah.
right now anyway.
It's probably like 187 or something.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I'm not sure why that wasn't updated. Apologize
Should be
for that.
175.
Something in that ballpark, yes. Look
Okay.
at the minutes from last meeting.
Yeah, we'll get it fixed.
But if it's being pulled, it becomes a non-issue.
Non-issue, right.
Well, the only reason it's pulled because we have a switch in city managers, and we just want to get the new guy up to speed because it's a big ask, and we want to make sure we were well prepared when we
Is
present
it,
it.
well, let me clarify, is it being pulled as far as the TDC approval and amount, or was it just pulled from the BOCC
Just pulled,
agenda?
just temporarily pulled so we could make sure that we were well prepared to present it.
Okay, so it still needs to be a placeholder on our budget right now?
Yes.
Okay, thanks for the clarification.
At 175, I think is the right answer.
So then we're running at 655,758 on capital reserves.
Any other business? Go ahead, Frank.
That's actually
sorry.
incorrect because it's got the 262 number. We'll get you some updates on that.
Sounds good. Other business by council members, City of Inverness, Jackie?
There's not much I can add to this morning, and I thank y'all for the cooperation and another show of unity. And then with that in mind, let me prep y'all for my next thought, which would be rethinking the name to back to Visit Citrus County with Inverness and Crystal River as the stars and encompassing all of what we have to offer. I just think that's a better fit for what we do, and we are Citrus County. I'm watching all the commercials that are coming up now, like Visit Daytona Beach, Visit whatever. They're all specific, and if you say Visit Citrus County, it covers, you can show Inverness, Crystal River without, I call it lawyer print, that runs across the bottom saying, Visit Crystal River and Inverness, Floral City, Homosassa. It's just something to think about, and I'm prepping y'all so nobody's blindsided. I'm planning on pursuing it a little here.
Yeah, it's just a really busy month for the city. The chamber did a great job of pulling off a record-breaking Manatee Fest. They changed their model and upped their fees to get in up to $10, but if you read the paper, you could pull off a sticker and get it for $5 on Sunday. So they did a really good job spreading the crowd around. So thank you. Three Sisters continue to get record-breaking visitors. January was, 20,000, Leslie? And I think we're up to 11,000 just this month alone. So the new center there is working real well. The city's, there's some issues with the crosswalk. There's a lot of people crossing that road, so we're working on that. And last, thank you guys for allowing us a home for temporarily. We're slowly trying to migrate out of there and find a permanent home. I saw Leslie write down the issue with the windows, so she'll get with you guys on that.
All right, thank you.
The 2024 INEX Winter Nationals are going on at the Citrus County Fairgrounds. We have several families from across the
Can you
United
explain that one?
States.
Yeah.
It looks like the Village is on steroids. It's little cars that, it's a step up from go-karts, but it's children-oriented, so the families are here with their kids are racing. And they're from Canada, Nova Scotia, and the whole country. It's the Nationals. So it's kind of a big deal for if you're in the race thing. That's pretty cool. And then we had the opportunity to host Adam Sandoval from Scootin' America. He came and did a nice blurb. I think I shared it with you. I don't know if you got it.
I don't.
But he did an Instagram page on visiting Citrus County and for biker-friendly places. Sent him out to, having a brain fart. Anyway, sent him a couple biker bars. It was a good article.
Excellent.
Michael?
Just for entertainment value, and to mention another comment was made earlier, what about all that business that Clay County got this weekend?
I heard it. Somebody said who?
Las Vegas?
Clark County.
Take the
Clark
point.
County. Clark County.
Clark County, not Clay County, Clark County, sorry. I was close. Would you have known it if I said Clark County?
Yeah.
You would have.
I would have.
I would do.
Just a point, we went through this exercise for years. So.
Yeah, let's all go down to Monroe County. Mike
Yeah.
Shoemaker?
I'm good, thanks.
Max?
Last March, before I was on board, from the floor, I came and talked a little bit about the name of Camp Visitor Boat Ramp going away. And I have worked through the whole wicket, so at 11:30 today, I'm going to go make a presentation to Mr. Head and to the Services Department about getting one of the boat ramps to have that Izzard name. And after that gets done, I'm going to be coming back because I really feel like a part of sustainable ecotourism is protecting the history and culture of a community. And there's a lot of sensitivity in that area. So I'm going to come back and I'd like to talk about places where we can emphasize our history and tell some of the untold stories all over our state. Folks do a lot particularly with the Seminole Nation and the wars, and we have a big chunk of that history here. So I'm going to be coming back and talking about adding more to the sustainable ecotourism approach, because there are a lot of folks that will travel to see historical things. And Mr. Head will be carrying the message forward. You know, he'll get consensus from his staff and go forward to the BOCC, because the 28th of the month would have been, well, the good lieutenant gave his life on the 28th of February in 1836, which was his 26th birthday. And I'm hoping that they'll put his name back on a boat ramp this month to honor that.
Thank you. Doctor?
Thank you.
Last comment, I passed along a PDF of the talking points that were distributed up in Tallahassee for tourism and some of the other metrics, so I'd ask if staff would shoot that out to everybody. So it was the other metrics such as, you know, the number of jobs and, you know, all the good things that tourism's doing for Florida, as well as the talking points when we were wandering the Capitol talking with legislators. So, without any other business by council members, we're open to the public again for 3 minutes. So come on down. And just start with your name, please.
Hey, everybody. I am Gloria Whitkus, and today I'm speaking as a resident of Crystal River of 10 years. I'd like to comment on the working group that was discussed earlier. And I've been a little bit active, obviously, in manatee ecology for a while. Just not sure if you folks know that I do have a background in ecology research. So I'm actually very passionate about conservation of this environment. I heard two things mentioned: the perception of our tourism, as well as the impact of the animals and the environment on the swim program. What I've seen both on the water and just in the neighborhood, biking, hiking, is that It's more so the general public that are misbehaving out there and making us look bad. I think that what I've seen is that people get together and talk about presenting ourselves more professionally, being more responsible, but usually it's just the good guys that participate, and usually the people that need the most help are not a part of these groups. I've seen actual laws broken out there, and real degradation happening to our ecosystem, and that's by the general public. And I would encourage you folks, rather than just making a working group by people that are trying to do the good thing out there, but really think about how we can enforce the general public. People that go in from Airbnbs, people that go in from House Hunter Springs, and just go in there and do whatever they want. And that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? I really don't want to beg. Okay, no one else is coming up. Okay, I'll close open to the public. Our next meeting is Wednesday, March 13th at 9 in this place. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Yeah, you figured that one out. Any objections? Probably not.
I think I've got one more.
Thank you. Thank you for everybody for attending.